All right. So I'm recording this right after both of the championship games have ended. And while watching those games, I got a few things that popped into my head that I think could better inform us as Browns fans going forward, or be something that's helpful, or something that we could learn, a lesson that we can learn from osmosis, right? From watching the mistakes made or the success made by other teams. And I think there's a lot to say. I think the main thing everybody's going to talk about when we talk about this week's championship games are QB play. Now, not to beat a dead horse or anything, if however you feel about who is the quarterback, right? Like however you feel about the quarterback, I know it gets toxic when I mention specific names, but however you feel about whoever you think the Browns quarterback is right now. Obviously, a lot of people, Baker Mayfield. Ask yourself this question about Baker Mayfield, right? Do you think he can grow in a year's time into a guy who could put his team on his back for 5 minutes? That's been the issue with Baker. He's done it, I think, 2 times in his career where I really felt like he put the team on his back. He carried the team. Both those times happened in 2020. I'm talking about the Bengals game, and I'm talking about the Ravens game on Monday Night Football, right? Those are the 2 games where I felt like, you know what, man, Baker's doing everything in his heart to win this game, right? He might have made a couple of mistakes, but come fourth quarter, he was ready. That's part of the reason why I was ready to buy all in on Baker at the time, because he was elevating himself to that level. Now, there were a couple signs that maybe this isn't going to be a consistent thing. It's a tough situation, right? The 2020 game against the Jets where you don't have wide receivers, but that's a game where you would want a quarterback to elevate guys and just to win that game. Look, basically what I'm saying is I know a lot of the reasoning behind the defense of Baker Mayfield goes to pointing at things that have gone wrong with Baker Mayfield since he's been here, right, in 2018. Things that weren't absolutely perfect since he's been here. But I want to ask you this question. Do you think Baker Mayfield is somebody who can overcome when things aren't absolutely perfect? That's a serious question you have to answer, whether you're pro Baker or not. That's a serious question you have to answer, right? Because if you think everything has to be perfect in order for Baker to do the things that he needs to do to win a Super Bowl, then you're wasting your time, because it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's never perfect for the Chiefs, and they have Patrick Mahomes. It's never perfect for Joe Burrow. I mean, come on, man. That roster is full of holes on the Bengals roster, but he makes it work. He adjusts, right? It ain't perfect for Matt Stafford, right? But you got to overcome some obstacles, and you got to take advantage, right? And that's one of the things that, we need to answer, right? This game is going to come down to quarterback play. That's just how it's designed, right? Even a run-heavy team. Look, Kyle Shanahan does not want to throw the ball with Jimmy Garoppolo as much as anybody else. But at the end of the day, there are situations where the game's going to force you to throw the ball. The team's not. The game's going to. That happened to San Francisco. The game forced him to throw the ball with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jimmy Garoppolo did what people know Jimmy Garoppolo to do. Panic, throw an interception in those moments, right? You can't escape the reality of your quarterback being who they are because you put a lot around them. Because eventually, no matter who the guy is, unless you have a rare situation like the 2000 Ravens where they had like 4 or 5 of the greatest players of all time on that team, on that defense at least, then you might be able to have enough margin for error. But that's what great quarterback play gets you, is margin for error. And what I'm hearing even from people who are defending Baker Mayfield, who want Baker Mayfield to come back, who want him to be starter, is, well, this went wrong, and then that went wrong, and then this went wrong, and then that went wrong in their defense of Baker Mayfield, right? And that tells me that Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, does not give you a wide enough margin of error for you to get through 4 games in a row to win the Super Bowl, right? If we're always talking about things that went wrong around Baker Mayfield, he's not elevating the team to a point to where it doesn't matter, right? Like with Joe Burrow, that offensive line was terrible a couple of weeks ago. Gave up 9 sacks. I remember when the Browns gave up 9 sacks. It was one of our worst games of the year versus Pittsburgh on Monday night. Ben's last game at Heinz, right? But, you know, he got sacked those 9 times, and then he played the worst game of his career. Now, he got sacked 9 times, right? You could point to that. That's why Baker played bad. But look at those 2 examples. One dude in a playoff game gets sacked 9 times, finds a way to win. Another guy, and these are both what playoff teams has happened against, right? The Steelers didn't make the playoffs, and the obviously the Titans made the playoffs. They're the 1 seed. But, you know, that ability to overcome that margin of error, right? The Browns roster, if they had top 10 quarterback play from whoever, right? If you had that level of quarterback play coming from whoever, the Browns roster is good enough to win the Super Bowl. I fully believe in it. I really do. You can point at all the little holes in the roster. Every roster has holes, but the Browns roster has players, playmakers at a lot of different levels. This year, we just didn't have a playmaker at quarterback for whatever reason, right? We weren't getting plays made at the quarterback position. That's the difference, man. We could talk about holes on this roster. We need a wide receiver here. We need a tight end there. We're not going to improve to a significant enough level unless we address the quarterback position, whether that be Baker Mayfield playing the best season of his career, because it would take that to win the Super Bowl, because he needs to continue on and have a full version of what that 2020 year was for it to really elevate this team to Super Bowl level, or whether that be trading for somebody like a Russell Wilson. Now, one thing this weekend has confirmed for me is I was already kind of off that train, but the Jimmy Garoppolo train, man, get off of that one. Please, just get off of that one. I will have a video up about all of the options that surround the Cleveland Browns. Jimmy Garoppolo, man, he's not a good one. I don't think he's very good. I honestly don't think he's better than Baker Mayfield. I think he has had some of the greatest coaching football has to offer, right? He went to Bill Belichick to Kyle Shanahan. And those are 2 great minds, one great defensive mind, one great offensive mind. And Kyle Shanahan, like he's known to do, you know, Matt Ryan had his MVP year with who? Kyle Shanahan. Brian Hoyer almost looked like a legit NFL starter with who? Kyle Shanahan, right? Like Kyle Shanahan is known for getting the most out of anybody or any QB that anybody can get out of, right? Like that's what Kyle Shanahan's MO is. And he keeps hitting his head against this Jimmy Garoppolo ceiling. That's the reason why they drafted Trey Lance, right? And that, if Kyle Shanahan can't get better performances out of Jimmy Garoppolo than what we have seen throughout Jimmy Garoppolo's career, I really don't think that the Browns are going to be able to get more out of him, right? Like Kyle Shanahan, Bill Belichick, 2 of the greatest minds on both of the sides of football that are currently coaching right now. He has been in there with extended years with both of those dudes, and this is as good as he's going to be. Like Jimmy Garoppolo is a dude who got put in the best possible situation at every step of his career, and he's still not that good. So I don't think that's going to work. I don't think he's better than Baker Mayfield, quite frankly. I just don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is good. I think he has been propped up for quite a while, and I think Kyle Shanahan has done some great work propping him up to victories, because even if you look at how he's played in those victories, he's not good. So Jimmy Garoppolo, not really the solution, right? We're talking, if the Browns want to really make that leap, go for it now. You're talking Aaron Rodgers and you're talking Russell Wilson. There's another guy, but we don't know what his legal situation is. But those are the guys, right? Those are the people that you're going to go after if you want to, for sure, elevate the quarterback play in the room. Mainly because 2 of those guys, the 2 I mentioned, are Super Bowl champions, right? So you already know they have it in them, right? So quarterback play. I cannot stress how important it is when we look at the Browns and we go, oh, this went wrong, that went wrong, quarterback play does a lot for your roster holes, right? Your roster holes can just go away with great quarterback play. That's what happened with the Bengals, man. The Bengals, there was a point in this year where Joe Burrow was good, and then he was okay, and then he just turned into like elite Joe Burrow at the end of this year. And since he's been elite Joe Burrow, it's not mattered what the Bengals' flaws have been. He's been elite. So he's just been pulling them through all this time. Like the Bengals can have all these issues. It doesn't matter because Joe Burrow is just really that good. Not to diminish from these other guys what they're doing. They're definitely doing work. But, you just see the Cincinnati team we played in week 8 when Joe Burrow was not playing at an elite level looked really flawed, right? Really, really vulnerable. But all of a sudden, Joe Burrow turns elite. They're the best team in the AFC. Legit. They're the AFC champions. They're the best team in the AFC right now. That's what quarterback play will do. That's what going from good to elite will do for you, right? Even if you think Baker can get to good, do you think he can get to elite? You can win with good. To win with good, though, it's going to require that you get a favorable path, right? You're talking you need a first-round bye, and you need to get lucky, right? You need to get like Ryan Tannehill or Derek Carr, or one of those teams that don't really have a great quarterback either or elite quarterback either. And then you got to hope you can win 2 games in a row and get some good quarterbacks. Now, the NFC don't really have that many quarterbacks, so you're really just worried about the AFC Championship game. But let's look at the reality of that situation when it comes to an easy path, right? Justin Herbert, he looks like he's going to be good to great, if not elite. Then you have Lamar Jackson. Now, I know some of y'all don't like Lamar Jackson. Y'all hate Lamar Jackson. The fact is Lamar Jackson's a former MVP. That Ravens team that had like everybody hurt was 8-3 before he got hurt. I'm putting him on the list, right? If you don't like it, you don't like it. Let's see, who else? Joe Burrow, clearly. We're watching it right now. We're clearly watching him be elite. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's enough to not give you a lot of confidence right there. But I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting somebody in my accounting of Josh Allen. Josh Allen. That's 5 guys. 5 guys. 7 playoff slots. Your odds of getting a path that avoids playing those guys 2 or 3 times, not good. So, you don't play in the NFC. You can't get traded to the NFC. How are you going to get to the Super Bowl? You need to get you a quarterback or have a quarterback or get quarterback play that can rival that. And we have to ask ourselves this honest question about our quarterback and about the quarterbacks that we're talking about bringing in, right? This goes for Kirk Cousins. This goes for Derek Carr. This goes for every quarterback that you think could start for the Cleveland Browns, right? Baker Mayfield, whoever. You need to ask yourself this question. Can insert quarterback's name here go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow? Go toe-to-toe with Lamar Jackson? Go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen? Go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes? Go toe-to-toe with Justin Herbert? Can your quarterback do that? Because until we know that answer is yes, or unless we're trading for somebody, we feel like the answer is yes, then we have an issue that we need to solve. I know a lot goes into wide receiver. Maybe we get wide receiver. I just don't feel like the way the AFC is stacked up that we're going to be able to build a team that can carry a quarterback to a Super Bowl. It's just too tough to get out the AFC to carry a quarterback to the Super Bowl. Maybe in the NFC, you could definitely get away with it because there aren't that many guys on the NFC. But in the AFC, I just don't feel like you can get away with it. Which leads us to this question again, man. How do you get one of those guys? This is why, for me, it makes it, if it's at all possible to get one of those guys, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, you got to do whatever you can to get it. Unless you're talking about trading Myles Garrett or something. But other than that, I'm willing to pay a high price for that because that's what the Browns are up against. And again, you might think that Baker Mayfield could develop into that this year. I would love to. That's the most simple solution, right? If Baker could just simply be better, most simple, easy solution. We don't have to give up any trade assets. That's great. But do you have faith in that? Because my faith is shaken. You know what I mean? I don't feel good about that. But if you do, then you do. But that's the real question, man. That's where the Browns' future will be lied, right? We can do all we want with the defense. We can do all we want with the offense. But until we have a quarterback that we feel good about going head to head with those guys they're all young, by the way. So this is a 10-year thing for the Cleveland Browns. So unless you got one of those guys, what are you going to do? Right? Like, what are you going to do? Unless you can go head to head with them. And that's what the Browns need. That's the biggest focus. How can you go head to head? I thought maybe a couple of weeks ago before the playoffs, hey, man, maybe you could get away with carrying your quarterback and just surround him. And maybe if you just elevate the quarterback play, make it a little bit more stable, you can get out the AFC with okay quarterback play. I am no longer in the belief that that's a realistic scenario to believe in. So that's the answer. Right, either Baker needs to develop into a demon right now and be elite, or we need to find somebody who is and wants to play in Cleveland. But that's just what I think of this weekend, the lessons that I learned watching both of these games. I don't know. It kind of seemed like that's what the weekend was screaming to me, was a quarterback play. It cannot be avoided. It really cannot be avoided because it's so difficult to overcome bad quarterback play. But let me know your thoughts on this weekend. What did you learn? What lessons did you take away from this weekend? But again, guys, thank you for watching. I want to make sure you guys have a good day. Well, no, not a good day, a great day. And have a good night if you're watching this at night. All right, y'all.